Romans 8:12. Therefore, brothers, we are debtors. As God's creatures, we are all debtors to Him, to obey Him with all our body and soul and strength. Having broken His commandments, as we all have, we are debtors to His justice, and we owe to Him a vast amount which we are not able to pay. But of the Christian it is said that he does not owe God's justice anything, for Christ has paid the debt His people owed. For this reason the believer owes the more to love. I am a debtor to God's grace and forgiving mercy, but I am no debtor to His justice, for He will never accuse me of a debt already paid. Christ said, "It is finished," and by that He meant that whatever His people owed was wiped away forever from the book of remembrance. Christ, to the uttermost, has satisfied divine justice. The account is settled. The handwriting is nailed to the cross. The receipt is given. We are debtors to God's justice no longer. But then, because we are not debtors to our Lord in that sense, we become 10 times more debtors to God than we should have been otherwise. Christian, pause and ponder for a moment. What a debtor thou art to divine sovereignty. How much thou owest to His disinterested love, for He gave His own Son that He might die for thee. Consider how much you owe to His forgiving grace, that after 10,000 affronts, He loves you as infinitely as ever. Consider what you owe to His power, how He has raised you from your death and sin, how He has preserved your spiritual life, how He has kept you from falling, and how, though 1,000 enemies have beset your path, you have been able to hold on your way. Consider what you owe to His immutability. Though you have changed 1,000 times, He has not changed once. Thou art as deep in debt as thou canst be to every attribute of God. To God thou owest thyself, and all thou hast. Yield thyself as a living sacrifice. It is but thy reasonable service. Canticles 1:7. Tell me where thou feedest, where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon. These words express the desire of the believer after Christ and his longing for present communion with Him. Where dost thou feed thy flock? In thy house? I will go if I may find thee there. In private prayer? Then I will pray without ceasing. In the Word? Then I will read it diligently. In thine ordinances? Then I will walk in them with all of my heart. Tell me where thou feedest, for wherever thou standest as the shepherd, there will I lie down as a sheep, for none but thyself can supply my need. I cannot be satisfied to be apart from thee. My soul hungers and thirsts for the refreshment of thy presence. Where dost thou make thy flock to rest at noon? For whether at dawn or noon, my only rest must be where thou art, in thy beloved flock. My soul's rest must be a grace-given rest, and can only be found in thee. Where is the shadow of that rock? Why should I not repose beneath it? Why should I be as one that turneth aside by the flocks of thy companions? Thou hast companions, why should I not be one? Satan tells me I am unworthy, but I always was unworthy, and yet thou hast long loved me. And therefore my unworthiness cannot be a bar to my having fellowship with thee now. It is true I am weak in faith and prone to fall, but my very feebleness is the reason why I should always be where thou feedest thy flock, that I may be strengthened and preserved in safety beside the still waters. Why should I turn aside? There is no reason why I should, but there are 1,000 reasons why I should not, for Jesus beckons me to come. If He withdrew Himself a little, it is but to make me prize His presence more. Now that I am grieved and distressed at being away from Him, He will lead me yet again to that sheltered nook where the lambs of His fold are sheltered from the burning sun.